Right now, host of The Five on Fox News Channel, Juan Williams, and Fox News contributor, Ms. Tammy Bruce. It's good to see you both. Hey.
Congratulations. Welcome to 8 o'clock.
Thank you. I love 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
I come alive at 8 o'clock.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I think the audience is alive to have you here. They say, let's watch.
So what's going on? I mean, look, I know that the left doesn't like Trump. I know that, he's not exactly the most eloquent with his words or his tweets at times, Juan. But, for Hillary Clinton to say we don't need to be civil, come on. Is that inspiring stuff like this, what we just saw from Shane?
I don't think so. I think what she's saying, I think what Eric Holder's saying is Republicans play hardball and Democrats want candidates, Democrats who are going to push back. And they watched what happened with Kavanaugh. They watched what happened in terms of the tax cuts. And they say, hey, how come Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the Congress?
Because they won.
And Democrats, they want Democrats to fight as hard. It's a lot of it is Trump's attitude. You were talking about Trump's rhetoric and the like. I think Democrats are saying, how come we don't have a Trump?
Well, listen, I will say this. Authenticity matters, right? I mean, you got to be yourself. And I can remember when Marco Rubio started attacking him on stage and really was... It made me uncomfortable. I think it made Marco Rubio uncomfortable to say what he said. But Donald Trump, it kind of just rolls off his tongue. I mean, this is the authentic version of him. And so, if the Democrats are looking around, they don't have a Donald Trump because, maybe some people just aren't that way, but you have to be yourself. They could have run Joe Biden. Joe Biden might have had a fighting shot, but instead they chose Hillary Clinton.
Well, look, the Republicans also didn't have a Donald Trump. Donald Trump came from the outside.
Okay.
And he had to fight his way in to get into his position, right? The political swamp, the machine on both sides is really controlled, tightly controlled with polls and special interests when it comes to what they think people want. But in going back to what's happened here publicly, and I would disagree with my friend Juan here, the fact is we can sit here and talk about political strategies and what people know and what we really think. And then there is all Americans, many of whom are on the edge or who have trouble or have listened to a year and a half of being told that the world is going to end, that there's going to be World War III, that everyone's coming after you. And then when you get a final push of effectively an endorsement by your heroes to not be civil, this is the result.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it with individuals. The Susan Collins situation, a letter with threatened ricin at her home. We don't see this on the news. There are constant protests in front of her private home. This is different.
This is not where we should be.
We haven't seen it before. We shouldn't go, and it's not what Americans want.
Well,
and this is what's going to hurt them in the midterms.
And by the way, I did ask the president. I said, look, whether you think it's fair or unfair, we're in a very divided state right now. And he agreed with that. And I said, so it's up to you as President of the United States to fix it. And he agreed with that as well. You're looking at me with surprise, Juan. He agreed with that. And you know what he said the answer was? Economic prosperity. You can get rid of some of the identity politics. People will come together if everybody is doing better, if the economy is doing better. He just said something. By the way, we've been following his rally there in Montana, and he did address the caravan that's approaching the United States right now. Let's listen in. It's just a thought.
It didn't just happen. A lot of reasons that caravan, 4,000 people. But I just want to thank the Mexican government because they're stopping it, hopefully, before it ever gets to Mexico. As you know, I'm willing to send the military to defend our southern border if necessary.
All right, so he's going to send the military if he has to. Tammy, what do you think of that?
Look, I think the strong economy is something that has meant something. He was able to threaten most Central and South American countries, I think Guatemala and Honduras and El Salvador, saying I'm going to cut off all that money. And of course, he also mentioned that he wouldn't mind ending and stopping that new NAFTA. That is what he threatened Mexico with, I believe, early this morning on Twitter.
Economic warfare.
So this is our power. They've heard it. They also know the president's serious because of his previous success, so they've taken him seriously. This is leadership.
Last word to Juan.
Well, I think what you're seeing is that, Republicans have really struggled with the tax cut that was supposed to be the centerpiece of their midterm election message for voters. that has not gained traction. So I think right
Can't
now.
believe the economy's grown 4.2%, sir.
The economy is one. It's just not the tax cut, which was supposed to benefit the middle class, just hasn't
Yeah, but
worked.
it has. Wages are going up. You're looking at 3%
Not
growth.
the way that people had thought that this tax cut would do. And the deficit is what has gone up. We heard from the Treasury Department this week, 17%.
I don't know what stats you're looking at, but
I think
4.2%
the
growth,
Treasury said
lowest
this.
unemployment
But
since
I think-
1969.
But I
I'm
think
not
what
gonna
he's
complain
doing
about
right
that.
now is he's saying we're going to go at culture wars to fire up the base for the midterms,
No, he
and
just
part
said
of that
he'd
is
defend
the
country.
immigration message.
He said he'd defend the country. I don't know
Oh,
when
please.
national security became a culture war.
It's
I hope
not a
that's the
national
case.
security issue. What's going on at the border, please?
The open border and 4,000
There's no
unknowns
open border. Where do you get this
walking
open
into
border?
the country.
Open
well, again,
border.
They sure think it's an open border. They're
If
coming
you got
over.
4,000
That is
people
rhetoric.
coming in, and they say that they need amnesty, and we have to process them, and all of a sudden they disappear into the country. Tammy's point is it's gotten kind of open. It's
They
not fully
expect-
open.
I don't
but
think it's
very
open,
porous.
and I think we've taken steps.
I could talk to you guys all night. This is a lot of
Well,
fun.
that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, I got to leave it there. We're
Thank
coming
you.
up on a hard break. Sean Spicer's next. See you after this.